What is up, Kentucky's number 6, Kassie O'Brien? So pumped to have you on the show today.
Yes, thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you making time. And I'll start with the question that I ask every guest on the What's Up podcast. It is, what are you all about right now? And I know volleyball has been a big thing. Even in the off season, you're still training. But is there something maybe small, like a life hack, a new song, food, restaurant, or even something big, like a new bucket list item that you are all about right now?
Yeah, I would say, I don't know, something that I am all about right now is I just moved into a house, and so with my new roommates, and so we love like cooking together. So I'd say I'm all about like cooking a new homemade meal, and that's just something that I look forward to every day.
What's the best meal you've made so far?
Yeah, I think so far I'm really into sweet potatoes, and so I made like a baked sweet potato with ground beef and avocado and some cucumber and cottage cheese, and it's just like a go-to. Sweet potatoes with anything is a go-to for me, so I'm loving it.
I love sweet potato fries, and I know that's a little less healthy than what you just
No, no.
described, but I am, like, obsessed, and so whenever I'm at a restaurant, I always ask, like, "Do you have sweet potato fries?" And when someone says yes, I'm
Right.
like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry."
Yes, I'm the same way. I'm the same way.
Have you tried making those, like, sweet potato brownies? I know that those are all over TikTok.
I saw those actually on TikTok, and I was like, I don't know if this would be any good. Like, I was like, but I might have to try it. I don't know. I might have to try it and see what it's like.
Yeah, let us know. Report back. We'll stay tuned for not just the dinner, but the potential desserts that Kassie and her
Yes,
roommates
yes.
will be making. And I know you're cooking and probably doing a lot of volleyball training, but what's maybe something just fun this summer that you've been able to do?
Yeah. Um, I was able to just spend time a lot with my family. Being in college, being so far from home, you don't get that many opportunities, but being able to go home for the summer was such a blessing, and I was just soaking up every moment that I had with them. And we went to the Astros game, we did little fun things here and there. So, I think, yeah, that's what kind of got me going.
So fun to finally get home, and it's crazy when you get back. I feel like you're like, do I bring everything? Do I leave everything? It's like that
Yes.
whole process is a huge part of college. But I love getting the opportunity to host a Sports Spectrum show because we get
Mhm.
to ask athletes about their faith. And you point to Jesus all over your social media, which is just so fun to see. When did your faith really become real for you?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell a little backstory, but I've always grown up like in a Christian home. We would go to church all the time when I was a kid. We were Methodists, and so I grew up going to the Methodist church. I have two older sisters who are also really strong in their faith. So I would really say, like, once I got into high school, I really started following Jesus a little bit more. But then it really hit when I came to college because I was like, I know that I can't do this alone. Like, and I think having my older sisters, they also play college volleyball, so, seeing them go through college and seeing their transition in their life and how much it changed when they started following Jesus, spending more time in the Lord, going to church all the time, that kind of motivated me to do the same. And so, coming here, getting into FCA and a church, being highly like going to it all the time and just being surrounded by that community, I think it's really drawn me closer and really gave me this fire for the Lord that I'm super pumped about.
Well, thank you for sharing that. It's so cool to hear not just like the experience that you're having now at Kentucky with the FCA and the church that you're plugged into, but also the impact that your sisters had on you. Like, so cool to
Yes.
have them go before you. I love to talk about the faith side, but even just for volleyball, what impact have your older sisters had on your volleyball career?
So much, and I think, like, words can't even describe because I would not be where I am today without them, and I tell everyone that, but it is the truth, and so, I always tell them the same thing. I'm like, "Y'all are the reason I'm here today," because they would always get me out on the driveway, we'd play volleyball, I'd go to all their games and watch them, and so, being able to grow up so young watching the sport, it helps so much in your own development, so really, really goes out to them, and they've just inspired me so much.
Man, I love that, and I'm sure they absolutely love watching you play and dominate on the court. It's so exciting, but tell me a little bit more about just that transition from high school to college, let alone just volleyball. Can you describe how hard that was really when you had to say, "Hey, I actually do really need God."
Yes. No, it was super, super challenging. So I actually graduated high school early because volleyball is a fall sport. So I graduated high school at the end in January, and I came in January to Kentucky. So January of last year, 2025, I was at Kentucky, and I feel like coming into college in the like transition between fall and winter or fall and spring semester, like all the freshmen had already been here, and then I'm, like, joining halfway through, right? And so it's like it was a hard transition, but I think it helped so much too because from the volleyball aspect, I was able to train all spring, and then that really made the transition from the spring to our actual fall season a lot easier on me because I kind of knew the fundamentals, knew the team already, knew how to balance the school and college and volleyball aspect of it. But then also like knowing and being surrounded, I think something that helped me so much is our team is just filled with so many God-loving people, and so it helps being surrounded by those girls, and so, one of my best friends, she got me plugged in and she was like, "Hey, come to Bible study, all these things with me." Like, as soon as I got here, I went on a winter recharge retreat, which was just a huge blessing because I was like, "I don't know what I'm doing," but I kinda stepped out of my comfort zone and, I was like, "This is something that I'm really passionate about and that I really wanna do," and so then also getting into FCA and then meeting with the FCA leaders was just a huge blessing and, yeah, no, it's been great, and so I think, that transition was super hard, but then knowing that I'm not alone and that I'm not doing this for myself, I'm doing it for the Lord was just such a good reminder for me.
It's so relatable that you were like, "I don't know about the winter retreat that you went on,"
Yeah.
and was that through FCA?
It was through FCA. Yeah, it was like a weekend retreat where we traveled just like I think it was like an hour up the road in Kentucky and went to this little campsite and we all stayed there in like bunk beds and some of my teammates were there and it was just like a bunch of different campuses or different universities in Kentucky that all gathered in the same weekend. It was so much fun. We were gonna go again in January of this year, but unfortunately it was snowing and so it kind of got snowed out. But I'm looking forward
The
to it
South
for
doesn't
next
have the
year.
same type of snow equipment, all
I
right?
know. I know, I'm like, "What's going on?" But yeah.
I love that because even just going to like your school's FCA or your school's athletes Bible study can be intimidating at times,
Mhm.
even if you love the Lord. Like it's just a
Right,
new group. It'd be like
right,
walking into a room, a bunch of people you don't know, and something
exactly.
that you don't know how it's gonna go. But like just that step of obedience, like look at the impact that you're saying it had on the rest of
Mhm.
that semester for you. I love it. I also view those retreats and those moments and even just like a night FCA meeting as like a fuel up moment for yourself
Yes.
and preparing yourself to go into battle of like what the next day brings. And it's so
Right.
important to do that. And I love that you explain that because it is so hard. And especially for you, the transition coming in between semesters.
Mhm.
Is there a specific moment when you can think back to that, transition time in your life and say, man, I'm so glad that I had this person with me because I probably wouldn't have done that on my own?
Um, yeah, I mean, I would kind of say that I don't know, I think just when I first got here and I started, like, putting my foot in the door, just being able to lean on my teammates, like, they were there for me every step of the way, and I think that is something that I really held on to when I am here, and I wanna do the same for the incoming freshmen and whoever do come here, because I know they're gonna be in that same boat.
Well, the incoming freshmen are very lucky to have you because I am sure that you're going to be that and more for them. But let's talk about this year's team with those freshmen. Your first season, though, absolute dominance doesn't really do it justice. SEC Freshman of the Year, National Freshman of the Year. You go to the national championship game. Like, has it hit you how wild of a first college year that was for you?
It is crazy, and honestly, like, it still kind of blows my mind, like, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, like, this and that," but, like, you don't really like it doesn't really sink in until you, like, actually realize, like, wow. Like, I remember stepping foot on the when we went to go play in the Final Four, and I was like, "How is this real life right now?" Like, this is, like everything that's happening in one season is what I dreamed of for my whole 4 years. Like, I just wanted one national championship experience, and now I'm like, "I wanna do this every year, right?" And so, I think it was just a huge blessing and, you know, I came in with such high goals, but and a lot of pressure as well, but I think, you know, I didn't wanna take any of it for granted. I knew it was gonna be hard but I was willing to put in the work, so I think it was super rewarding being able to go that far as a freshman and kind of be like, "Oh, wait, like, I can do this as a freshman, like, imagine what I can do in the next few years." So it's kind of like a motivator as well, because you know that feeling now and you kinda wanna do the same moving forward.
All that hard work just feels so good when you get to that point because you're like, "Man, I'm so glad we were doing that," or "Now it makes sense," right? Like, you're
Right.
just like, it's so worth it when you are able to experience, like, the final game you could possibly play in your season. Just the
Yeah.
reward of that feels so amazing as an athlete. When you look back on last season, what's one core memory that you'll never forget?
Yeah, one core memory I will never forget. I think honestly, it really doesn't come down to the memories. I think it really or like to the I guess not memories. I guess all the big names like Final Four, all these different achievements that our team had, but I think it comes down to the little moments that we spent together, like the bus rides, our plane rides, going and getting coffees. Like we would go and get coffees before all of our away games and like going and trying new spots at different places that we would go. I think all those little memories will last a lifetime and obviously like all the big stuff like going to the national championship all those things will also, but I think those little moments will stick for a long time.
There's nothing better than getting a great coffee on an away trip. The
You're
morning of a
not
game,
wrong,
you
you're
just love
not
it.
wrong. Yes.
I love it. And a lot of people from afar, even just if they don't go to a game but just watch you from TV or on social media, they'll see the highlight reel, right? But maybe they won't see just how hard it was to get to
Mhm.
the Final Four, to get to the national championship, to be the national player of freshman of the year that you were. In what ways do you feel like your faith was challenged throughout the volleyball season last year?
Yeah. I mean, I was challenged, I would say every day. I think, the pressure that comes with playing Division 1 athletics, it's hard. And so I think knowing that my worth doesn't define who I am, like my worth is in Jesus and Jesus is who defines me and it's not in my sport. And I think that's something that really stuck with me because you can get so wrapped up in, what are other people thinking about me? Oh my gosh, I didn't perform this day, social media is coming after me, but like knowing who I am and that Jesus won and if I can just glorify him every time I step on the court, like will be proud of myself and that's what I want to do. So I think just that reminder and knowing that my identity is in him and not my sport was something I just, really tried to remind myself every time, honestly, practice games, all of it, because it can be super challenging and, you know, every day is you're just going out there giving it your all, but, just knowing who he is and that I ultimately just wanna glorify him really gave me the comfort that I needed.
Well, Cassie, thank you for sharing that. And it's so evident in your play and so cool to hear the heart behind the success that you've had on the court. And even for young athletes who are looking up to you, like so awesome for them to hear that encouragement. You mentioned social media and volleyball
Mhm.
is just on a wild stage. The spotlight gets so much brighter every single season. It's amazing for female athletes. Like it's so exciting. At the
Yeah.
same time, it comes with a lot more eyes, a lot more words and all the things as you know. How do you handle the social media and maybe just the criticism that you have as now acting like a basically a pro athlete? Are there things that you do as like barriers that you put up because it's really easy to say and believe the things I know my worth is in Jesus, but
Yeah.
like sometimes you actually need a physical, hey, I'm not going to do X, Y, and Z or this is
Right.
my parameter that I set for myself.
Yeah, no, I definitely think and I try during season, like if I know a game didn't go well, or like I'll even say like after losing the national championship, like I didn't want to get on social media. And I think just knowing like that and just like putting those boundaries on myself and not really reading too much into what other people are saying, And so that's something that I try to do. But also like if I do see like a mean comment or something towards the team, towards me, about what other people are saying, it kind of like motivates me and kind of brings like this fire inside of me. I'm like, oh, you said that? Oh, I'm gonna prove you wrong, you know? So it's like kind of goes hand in hand. Like, yes, I try to avoid it as much as I can, but if I do come across something, I'm like, I try to just pull those negatives out and replace it with something positive so then it doesn't affect me too much. But it does affect, there's always a small part of it that does, but I just try to, either write down or do something, talk to someone if that is what I'm like going through or if I want to talk to someone about it.
We're all human. No one is bulletproof, okay? No matter
Right.
what you're doing, and it does hurt. Some words can definitely hurt, but it's how
Mhm.
fast you can rebound, right? It's like, "All
Yes,
right, friend,
exactly.
speak the truth. What's going on? Like,
Exactly.
listen to the right
Exactly.
music,"
Yeah.
right? And so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love that. I love that. Well, for you to be able to have so much success in your freshman season, I can tell the fiery spirit that you had, even just with that last answer that you gave me. I'd love to know, take me back to that first practice with your team as a freshman coming in. Maybe it's the beginning of the fall, like the real season, or maybe it's just
Yeah.
those first initial spring practices. Can you describe the mentality that you walked onto the court with, knowing who you are and knowing the gifts that you've been given, but also the intensity of a new environment?
Yeah. So I'll talk more about the fall because that was really a challenge for me, I would say the most. I remember going in August and, you hit 2 a day, so you're practicing twice a day and it's just like a grind, everyone's fighting for a spot. You don't know if you're gonna start, you don't know all the ins and outs, but, my mentality every day going in was I'm just gonna play Kassie volleyball. Like, I've been training my whole life. I'm at the school that I dreamed of being at, and I'm just gonna go out there and play volleyball, right? I'm gonna play the sport that I've been wanting to play at this level for so long, and I've trained, and I know that I can be and I deserve to be here, right? And so I think that was my mentality, but it was a struggle for sure because, competing for a starting spot, it's not easy, right? Because you wanna love your teammates, but at the same time, you're competing against them, so finding that, like, healthy balance was important to me. But yeah, so moving forward, I found myself just, like, kind of overthinking everything, like, I was putting too much pressure on myself at that point in the beginning of the season because I wanted to play so bad, and I was like, "Well, what if" like, there was this doubt that was entering my head because I was like, "Well, what if I don't play?" What if maybe my role is to be the one on the sidelines just pouring into my team constantly, and so I think that was, like, a hard reality at first to grasp because, you get to the college level and everyone is the same level, like, there's no one greater than anyone, so, um yeah, so that was hard, and it did turn out like I wasn't the starting setter at the beginning of the season, like, I didn't play in the first 2 games, and that was hard for me, but I think during those times and in those practices, like, I knew who I was, I knew the competitor that I was, and I am, and so I think there was kind of like a mindset change almost in my mind, and so, um and something that was also cool to me, I was like one night, it was after a I'm kinda, like, rambling here, but one night after it was, like, a not great practice, and I was kind of upset with myself, and I remember just, like, scrolling in bed on TikTok, and I saw um, it was John I forget the verse specifically, but it said that, like, what you're going through right now is, no comparison to what's to come, and so I thought that was something that just, like, hit me, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, the Lord is speaking through me on TikTok," but it was really a changing moment for me because after read that, I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, maybe this is all for a reason," and it was because it motivated me, it made me work even harder, and so then when I did get the opportunity to go on the court, like, I was like, "Oh, I'm taking advantage of this," right? So I think it was just super, super cool to, you know, kind of see all the challenges through those first few weeks being in August and then being able to make that switch and, going out there and just playing and letting go of all the doubt and overthinking and all of that and just letting loose and playing the game that I love.
That is an incredible story, and TikTok can be so good sometimes, people. It gets a bad rap, honestly, it does. But, like, seriously, the amount of times when I've either just been, like, laughing for 15 minutes straight, number 1,
Right.
or truly encouraged by, like, Christian content, it's awesome, and
Mhm.
to hear the impact that that had, like, a changing moment for you is
Yes.
wild. For a lot of athletes, the competition and then also being like loving and kind to your teammates off the court or the field or the pool or the track is really difficult, right?
Mhm.
And we're human, so it's really
Right.
hard. I'm curious with that tension, what encouragement do you have now having a year under your belt of that? Like, hey, I'm coming for your job. I am
Yeah.
trying to beat you out, right? But at
Right.
this, in trying to like be one of the best players on this team at the same time, like whistle blows, practice is over, like flip a switch. What encouragement now do you have after going through a year of it that you'll take into this second year?
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing, right? Like, no, like, even though we had such a successful year last year, like, nothing is ever guaranteed, and so, I think still being able to find that balance between, like, the competitive side, but also, like, the loving side of your teammates, like, these are the girls that you know, blood, sweat, and tears, like, you form this bond with, and so, going into this next season, I think I'll kind of realize, the pressures, and I know kind of how to grasp that now, but yeah, like you said, like, being able to flip that switch is super important, and that I never wanna come across as someone, like, that holds a grudge at any point because I love the person next to me, I love all my teammates so much, and so I think for me, it's just like, how can I be the best teammate and person possible? And if, yes, I'm competing against this girl, but at the same day, like, I want her to know that if anything happens, like, I'm gonna be here for her. And so, I think just having that mindset is super important and that I'll be able to kind of just like share with the other girls that are about to step into their first year here.
Certainly. And it just makes you both better as athletes,
For
right? When you're
sure.
competing at the
Right.
highest level and you're pushing each other. I think one of the worst feelings ever is feeling like your team isn't giving enough or you
Mhm.
aren't giving enough. And as an athlete, when you're not going
Right.
full throttle, right? And so you never want to sit in that. And clearly you didn't because you had an incredible season as a team. And I can relate. I lost not one, but two national championships in college. I hope that's
Oh,
not your story. I hope it flips the
oh
switch
my
this time.
gosh.
And so I know how much it stings, but I also
Yeah.
know how much you can grow and just learn through it in like really positive ways. It's like
Right.
even not the X's and O's of the game. How do you feel like just a really disappointing outcome to the end of the season has impacted you now heading into the next season?
I think it's a motivator. Like, I hate losing, and so, yes, like, it was so hard in the moment, but knowing that, it was one game, like, and of course, that one game decided, like, the national champion, but knowing that that one loss, like, that doesn't define us, and so, I think going into this next year, like, we kind of have 1, a target on our back because we did go to the national championship, but 2, like, we have something to prove. Like, yes, we made it there, but we are still striving to win, right? And so I think just using it as a motivator because I think it can be tough too, like going into the next season being disappointed and like, oh my gosh, we lost this and that. But I think our team does a really good job and our staff and our coaches do a good job of knowing like leaving that in the past and we're moving on to the future, right? And so we can't be living in the past and dwelling in that when we have an upcoming season. I think our coach something that really sticks to our team is like just being in the present moment. And I think that's super important going into this season is just staying present, taking one game at a time, like not putting the pressure from last season onto this season and, not thinking too far ahead. But just staying in the present moment and taking it one game, one practice at a time.
Well, you guys are in the present, but I'm going to take it back to the past because you said this was your dream school. And I know it takes a lot of hard work on top of your God given ability to just get to a program like Kentucky, let alone be a superstar there. So, what was the recruiting process like for you?
Yeah, it was a lot. I remember, it's a little bit different in volleyball, I don't know how it is for other sports, but there's, like, a specific date that we're allowed to talk to coaches on, and so that's, like, June 15th going into your junior year, And so I remember that date was just a lot for me. I knew kind of what I wanted in a school, but I still wanted to keep my options open, right? And so I did get the opportunity to, go to one of the Kentucky camps when I was a freshman in high school. So I had come here real quick. It was like a 24-hour trip. I flew in and flew out just to see the campus because I knew I was interested in Kentucky just from the staff and, the success of their program and their setters, especially. They have such a great line of legacy or setters that have gone before me. So, um, but yeah, June 15th, it was crazy. I was talking to a lot of coaches, and what I was like 15 or 16 years old. So, talking to coaches at that age, it is scary. You don't really know
Could
what
you
to
drive
expect.
yet? Could you even drive a car?
Probably not.
No.
Like, no.
So
And
you can
so
commit to college, but you can't drive a car yet.
exactly. And so, um, yeah, it was a lot, but I remember I wrote down notes after all the schools I talked to. I knew that I didn't want to say super close to home, like, obviously A&M is not far from me, and all these other schools in Texas, like, Texas has so many great universities, but I kind of wanted to just go and experience something new, right? And kind of just figure it out for myself, and so, I think whenever I got the opportunity to, play volleyball at Kentucky, and obviously that was a school that was kind of top on my list for a long time, um I wanted to take it, right? And so it was scary in the moment. I remember just, like, bawling my eyes out, like, even I was, like, about to commit and I was bawling, but I was so happy, but at the same time, I was scared because 'cause I'm going 15 hours from home, and I've never lived away from my parents before, and so it was a scary reality, but it was, like, such a huge blessing because I wouldn't have changed it for anything. I absolutely love it here. And I think, like, again, like, my teammates, like, just being surrounded by them makes me feel at home, and the staff makes me feel at home. So, um, yeah, I think that was kind of what my recruiting process looked like. It was crazy, but, in the end, it all works out, and so I think that's what I trusted and believed in.
Wow, it's just so wild when you put those 2, like, pictures together of you, like, crying because 'cause you're like, "I don't wanna leave home, but, like, it's my dream," and it just
Right.
I think it's such a perfect, like, illustration of, like, what trusting the Lord looks like, you're,
For
like,
sure.
crying, you're like, "Where am I going?" Like, it's, like,
No,
really kinda what it
exactly.
feels like, yeah.
Exactly.
What a beautiful picture though, and just so cool to see like really what his plan was for you just in 1 year, right? Like so cool. And the crazy thing about college is that every year does really look different. And so I'm so
Mhm.
excited to see what this year holds for you, just in a different way. But you mentioned the legacy of Kentucky and the setters that have come before you. How did you become a setter and why did you fall into that position?
Yeah, so I've always really loved setting. I think I've set pretty much ever since I started playing volleyball. I was like, this is what I want to do. But I think that was because, as a setter, you're in every single play. You're kind of the leader on the court. Um, and that's what I wanted to be. And those are kind of qualities that I had already in me from a young age. And so being a young age, I was playing 11s and I wanted to just kind of be like in every single play, right? And so it kinda just stuck with me. I really love that position and being able to kinda run the court, tell the hitters what they're doing, and, as a setter, you don't get as much spotlight, but that wasn't something I cared about, right? Because I just want to set my teammates up in the best position possible, be the best teammate that I can be, bring the energy, lead them in a positive way, and so I kinda took that and ran with it. So ever since my 11's year in club, I've been a setter, which is crazy because a lot of girls, they play a lot of different positions, but that was one I just really stuck with. Um, so yeah, that's kind of how I got into setting, and then, yeah, I kind of forgot what was the second part of the question, or did
No,
I
that was
answer
that
that?
was no,
Okay,
that was
okay,
good, that was
okay,
good, and
awesome.
you're really good at setting those
Thank you.
teammates up, and I wanna know more about those teammates because they sound like such awesome people. What's a tradition or something you always do when you're together outside of just getting coffee on the road? Like, what's
Right.
a staple of this team?
Yeah, we love doing little things together. I think one thing that we like it was funny, over the spring, we did, like, little spotlights, and so it was, like, one girl, and then it was, like, an on court, like, mic'd up, and then off the court something, and so for mine, I, like, grabbed a few teammates and we, like, play Fortnite. Like, we just, like, have a good time together. Like, we'll play Fortnite or we'll, um, go eat somewhere, and so, like, little things like that. Some girls, like, went bowling, and so we just, like we also have, like, horse race tracks here, so in the spring, we'll all go to Keeneland and watch the horse racing, and so I think it's super cool just being able to not only be teammates and, play on the court together, but also have that strong bond off the court.
Okay, so who's the best at Fortnite?
Okay, I will say in my video, I did have the most kills, so I'm not trying to brag here, but I don't know, but it's
Who
fun.
would give you a run for your money if you had to play somebody? Who would you
I
play?
did
For the
play
best game, for the best game.
for the best game. I will say our middle, Kennedy, she's probably better at Fortnite than I am. And
Okay, well, you got some time to catch up
I
on
need
it.
to play with her. I haven't played with her yet, but I have heard from my other teammates that she's good at Fortnite, so I'm gonna need to play with her and see what that's
I
about.
absolutely love that. I think the games that you play with your teammates that are not your sport can be one of the funniest things that you ever do with them because it's just like your competitiveness in a totally
Right.
different environment.
Yes,
It
yes,
brings out like the same energy from your teammate. It's just now in a video game or like in a
yeah,
deck of cards. It is absolutely hilarious. But I think on a more serious note, what's been cool to just hear you talk about your teammates is the light that they've been to you and just like
yes.
how they've surrounded you, even the girls who might not be in your grade. Can you speak to just the importance and the value that you now know can have when you have other believers that are just like surrounding you and really care about you, not just as the teammate and the athlete, but like you as a person, as Kassie O'Brien?
It is so important, and it is truly, like, something that, being surrounded by such godly people and community is just it only makes you better as a person, and so, being able to be with them, do Bible study together, talk to them about anything, I think it truly, like, makes me wanna be more like them, right? And we're all striving to be more like Jesus, so it's like, I wanna be as strong as my faith as she is and help grow each other, and then also we can use each other to be more like him. So I think it's just been super cool and such a cool thing to see that, being surrounded by so many people who love Jesus just as much as I do and just kind of, all connect in that way.
Well, it's easy to cheer for people like that. And so I'm so excited to get to know your team a little bit better watching you all this fall. But my last question for you, what is the pregame routine? What is Kassie doing before the game?
Yeah, music. So one of my go-tos is just music, I listen to a lot of worship music, so kind of depends on what the vibe I'm feeling, but, if I want some hype, praise the Lord, I'll just, do some praise by Brandon Lake or one that I really played was just like Plans. Plans by Brandon Lake was so good, just a good reminder that, you know, everything is in his plan, he has it for me, but also I do throw in a little Rihanna, "Run This Town," give me a little bit
Okay.
hype,
Yep.
little Rihanna, something, a little change up, but then also, pregame, do a little some TikToks, sometimes we'll make some TikToks before games, we do a prayer circle, and then dance circle, so those are pretty much the go-tos, music, prayer circle, dance circle, maybe a few TikToks in there, and then we're out there on the court.
I love that. Nothing better than a prayer circle than a dance circle, dancing
Right.
it out. Kassie, seriously, like this was so fun to get to know you better
Please,
and
thank
also learn
you.
a little bit more about your team. I'm so excited to just see like not just this season, but really what the Lord has for you these next 4
Right,
years in college and like truly you don't even know the ripple effect that you're going to have just being a
right,
light even on social media. Like girls will come to the camp and they'll get to meet you, but even like doing a podcast like this where you're bold about your faith and even just posting an Instagram, and
right,
just being a light, like truly it's going to have a lasting impact. So, so
yeah.
excited to see the future Kassie O'Brien's in Kentucky jerseys, the impact that you're going to have. But thank you so much for coming on the show. We're so excited to cheer you on this season.
Thank you so much. This is awesome. Thank you.